ready to hear some noise tonight. You're just seconds away from Let's Go Blues Radio.
No doubt about it, eh? You're listening to Kurt, Bill, and Jeff on Let's Go Blues Radio, the original St. Louis Blues hockey fan podcast. Take it away, boys.
Come on, St. Louis hockey fans, stand up and cheer. The Blues are back strong. This is our year. It's the Blues' turn now.
I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Yeah, it's the Blues' turn now. With that Al McKinnon slap shot, you know we can't lose. We are St. Louis, the home of the Blues. Come on, St. Louis. Let's go Blues. Come on, St. Louis. Come on, St. Louis.
Let's do that hockey.
Come on, St. Louis. Let's go Blues. All over the hockey universe, the note is the news. Everybody's digging on the St. Louis Blues.
Welcome to Season 7, Episode 30 of Let's Go Blues Radio. We are the original St. Louis Blues hockey podcast. We're live on Wednesday, January 9th, 2019. This is franchise episode number 163 all-time. I'm your host, Kurt Price. Bill Day and Jeff Ponder are with me once again to interact with us or the show on social media. Follow us on Twitter at LGB Radio. My Twitter handle is at Kurt Price. Bill's is at Billy Blue Note, and Jeff's is at JPonder94. Follow us on Instagram, like us on Facebook, and the website is letsgoblues.com. If we have time later, we will open the show up for you guys to join us on the air. Check out, keep your posted to Twitter for that. And check out the letsgoblues.com shop for t-shirts, mugs, and stickers. And don't forget the Retire 44 Chris Pronger shirt is available now. Gentlemen, this is the first group show of the new year.
It is.
So Happy New Year, guys.
Happy New Year to you as well.
Happy New Year to you MFers as well.
Thanks for keeping the show going while we've been, lazy and busy.
It wasn't easy. I'll admit last week kind of threw everything together. I mean, I think it came together pretty well, but yeah, we had talked on Wednesday and hey, we're doing a show tonight? Oh shit, it's Wednesday, isn't it? That was kind of the conversation. So last second I came up, I was able to get us a guest, and as I said, I was able to kind of string together something towards the end of the show. So it came out pretty good, but yeah, it was definitely something that was not planned far ahead like the other interviews I've had.
Love it when a plan comes together.
Spade, by the way, Kurt, you mentioned the Let's Go Blues shop. For those listening live or watching the YouTube video, right behind my ginormous head, you can see the Retire 44 t-shirt that you can buy over at letsgoblues.com.
That's a fine looking t-shirt.
It is a fine. It's very fine looking t-shirt.
Sharp. What's the front? I haven't seen you posted a picture of the back. What's the front look like?
Do you want me to remove it? You know, it took me like 10 minutes to get that hanging up perfectly.
I'm just joking. I saw it was up there kind of goofy. I'm like, oh, I want to ask him to take it down. That'd be kind of funny.
Oh, it seriously took me a while. I was MFing that shirt a couple times.
This is not a kid-friendly show anymore. You don't have to say, I mean, unless it's against your religion to say bad words.
Stop being such a cotton-headed nitty-muggins.
Oh, nice.
Oh, man. I can't believe he just went there.
I did.
Dropping the elf references. Jesus.
Well, in the January, too. There's something blasphemous about that.
The official beers of episode 163. Bill.
I am about done with my beer tonight. It's from Toppling Goliath Brewery out of Decorah, Iowa. That guy that works for me turned me on to that, and I've had quite a few of their offerings that I've been able to find here. This one's interesting. It's Rover Truck Oatmeal Stout.
You should take a picture of the write-up on the side.
Yeah, I'm not going to read it.
No. We'd be here half an hour.
Long, but yeah,
you should take a picture and tweet that out later.
Yeah, I will do that. Very good beer. Nice, smooth, salad oatmeal stout. Good for this time of year when it's getting cold again.
Jeff, do you have a beverage?
I do. I actually had some ingredients left over from the marvelous eggnog that I make every year on Christmas Eve. So I made it again. And while we were waiting to get the show together, I drank the glass that I was going to present for my drink of the episode. So I no longer have that. So I have switched to, still in the Christmas season for me, I guess, the Mary Berry Ale from Schlafly, which don't think you're going to find it anywhere anymore. But this is my favorite Christmas beer. So if for next season, if you happen to remember this episode, check out the Mary Berry Ale from Schlafly.
Because
I was just gonna say I saw it. Schnucks had a couple of things of clearance Mary Berry the other night. So
did
they? May go get that. I was very disappointed. I love Schlafly's Christmas ale. I was disappointed that it wasn't available this year and resented Mary Berry. But if Jeff is going to promote it, maybe I'll have to go get some.
I went to high school with
a nice beer.
I went to high school with a Mary Berry. I kid you not. That is not a joke. I went to school with a Mary Berry and a Jekyll and Hyde.
No,
I'm not. I would not lie. That is a.
Oh my God! What awful parents.
You know what? It was. I mean, I wouldn't do it to my kids, but it was. I don't remember them either being teased or anything. It was a. I don't know, kind of a weird, cool thing. I don't know. Yeah. True story. Freeburg midgets, which is another story altogether.
Yes,
Freeburg High midgets, where the scholar quiz team were the mental midgets. Brilliant. I can't laugh at that. You can't laugh at anything. My beer this evening is the Old Bakery beer, located up in Alton, Illinois. Fine brewery, good place, great food. There they have. This is the porter, their porter beer, which I enjoy quite a bit. It's nutty and chocolatey, just like it says on the can, and it's quite good. From Old Bakery Beer in Alton. If you have not been there, go there. It's the name, Old Bakery Beer. It's an old bread factory, and it's a neat place. You got to walk a mile and a half before you actually get back to the restaurant area inside, but it's neat.
Yeah, I've wanted to go up there. I've not been there yet.
That's good, and they have a couple of good beers I like. It's a cavernous place, but their food is really good, actually, too. So,
you want to know something messed up? You want to know the inner workings of my brain? Probably not, but I'm going to tell you anyway. I drink a lot of beer, and so I hear and say the word porter a lot. Yet, every single time I hear it or say it, Chris Porter's face gets ingrained in my mind for about 2 seconds. That's pretty messed up, right?
A little bit.
I mean, Chris Porter was an integral part of this team underappreciated part of this team for a while.
Yeah.
The CPR line, right? The greatest line this team has ever had.
The kid line might have something to say about that.
No, what was the Conroy, Achinum,
CPA.
And
CPA
Bartechko.
line, right?
Bartechko.
No, Pellerin.
Pellerin.
Yeah.
Okay.
I knew there was no CPA line. Scratching them.
Now
Where's scratching them?
give me Federico, Sutter, and Babbage.
Yeah.
Give me any line Dan Quinn was on.
Oh God. Dan Quinn was such a waste. Here. He was okay.
Speaking of waste, we're going to talk about the St. Louis Blues today.
Hey, we'll talk about happier times today in Blues history, courtesy of the @STL Blues History Twitter account. January 9th, 2019 is today's date. So January 9th, 2012, former Blues GM Ron Caron passed away, which is not a happy note. Where was I going with this?
Can we start the show over?
Ron Caron passed away on this date, 2012.
Great segue there.
To say that would have been a killer segue if it didn't start with somebody dying.
Right.
It's like Casey Kasem and that his rant about the death dedication. Tempo record into a fucking death dedication. It's literally exactly the same thing. That's hilarious. Somebody's
are you comparing yourself to Casey Kasem?
A little bit.
Yes, he's kidnapped and nobody knows where he is.
I want
Kind of like Richard Simmons.
I want somebody to use his fucking brains. But the STL Blues History Twitter account tweeted out the video, a video from John Kelly is talking, and it shows his it's a little segment they did. I think it was in between periods of a game or before the game, maybe back in 2012, where it shows the I'm sorry, back in like probably the
Early 90s.
early 90s, late 80s.
Yeah. John Kelly was a young man.
Right, he was, and but it's a really cool little quick segment on Ron Caron. It just shows video of him in the press box, basically just how emotional and passionate he was cheering on the Blues, how angry he got, and how vocal he was. It's so hilarious.
Every play.
Yeah,
every play
he's just barking down orders.
Right.
Watch the middle. Watch the middle.
Shoot the puck.
Yeah, he did yell shoot it.
He was one of those guys.
Yeah, no,
that's where it started.
I would have loved to have sat next to him for a game. That'd been fantastic.
Well,
they
not
should
right next to him because you got slapped in the face.
I would have loved it. They should have like had sold a special ticket to sit next to Ron Caron in a game. Today's date, January 9th, 1987. Bernie Federico suffered a broken jaw when hit by teammate Mark Hunter's stick in a 5-1 loss versus the Edmonton Oilers. There's a write-up here from the newspaper in the tweet as well. Talks about his jaw was broken in two places. Once right in the center of the chin, where at the point of the jaw, and then once near the jawbone, or the hinge, whatever the fuck it's called, the hinge of the jawbone where it connects to the skull. What the fuck? I don't know.
The joint.
The jawbone connected to the skull bone.
Two places broken. He's out for 3 to 4 weeks.
That has got to be painful.
It doesn't seem long enough, 3 to 4 weeks, for that kind of injury.
That was the prognostication by the doctor there, right? But
he may have been out longer.
My recollection was that it was like
8 weeks,
a hell of a lot longer, because it was. There was so much hope for that season because that was the year after the Monday Night Miracle, and they had most of those pieces still together, and thought maybe they could take a run. And that was just so disheartening to lose him. Yeah, really for most of the rest of the season. I don't know. Maybe we should have more beers with him and ask him about it.
Actually, the whole broken jaw in multiple places thing that happened to a friend of ours.
Yeah.
Courtesy of a friend of Jeff's. So that and he was out he couldn't fucking eat solid foods for a long time.
Yeah.
Well, like, I don't know how long, a month or two.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it was. Trying to train as a professional, I'm sure would have been challenging.
Yes. Yeah. To maintain your weight and everything.
Yeah.
Right.
That just remember, folks, these are the kind of people that I associate with.
Right. This was a long time ago. Galaxy far, far away.
It was way before I knew this guy too.
It's yeah. That was what year was that? Back in
2000. Was it in the 2000s?
I don't think so.
It was late 90s, 99 maybe.
I wasn't even born yet.
I don't know. It was during a game. It was during a hockey game. We didn't mention that.
Right.
It was an altercation.
Right.
But anyway, the topics first on the agenda before we get into too much of a ranting mode. The All-Star game is coming in 2020, which is pretty cool. First time in St. Louis since 1988, and this will be the third time in St. Louis for the All-Star game overall. We hosted one back in the early days, something like 5 years after we were here or something. That we were the first expansion team to host one, I think it was. Yeah. Back in 70 something?
72.
72. Yeah.
I remember when the one came through in 88 the ice bucket.
Behind
Kurt.
Yeah, it's on camera too. Yeah, the ice bucket with the All-Star game logo on it. So I think I tweeted out after it was announced. I'm like, I got to find an ice bucket from the 2020 All-Star game. Good luck with that.
Yeah. Do they make ice buckets anymore?
I don't know, and I'm hoping somebody will. I don't know.
Right.
the ice bucket thing is weird. I found it and I saw it and I had to have it. So it didn't matter what it was. If it had the All-Star Game logo on it, I'm going to buy it. So
Yeah.
I don't feel like getting up, but I have a Pepsi bottle that has a 1988 NHL All-Star Game logo on it. So that's one of my pieces of pride and joy, I guess.
I thought you were going to say pieces of flair.
That too.
Yeah. No, I my most consistent memory of going to practice at Afton Ice Rink in high school is every time we'd walk in, they had the team pictures from the All-Star Game in '88 on the wall there. And I just, every time I'd have to look at it. And, yeah. Patrick Waugh, that was his third year in the league, and I think first All-Star appearance, but it was the Mario Lemieux show.
Mm-hmm. Yep. 6 points, was it, I think?
Yep.
Something like that. He took away MVP honors.
And the truck.
Yeah. They stopped giving away cows at that point. Gary Unger may have gotten the last cow from the All-Star Game. For those not aware, that Gary Unger actually was awarded a cow after winning the All-Star Game MVP honors back in whatever the fuck year it was.
So I did a little bit of digging for this little conversation here. I looked up all-time Blues All-Stars. It's not hard to guess, so I'm going to have you guys guess who is the All-Star leader in games played for Blues history. It's actually a tie for two players.
In Blues history.
Yep.
I'm going to say I have a name in my mind. So,
yeah.
Bill, you go first. Did you have one?
Brett Hull.
I'll say McKinnon.
Brett Hull's one of them.
Okay.
Al McInnes is not.
Right. I was going off the board.
The other is someone you literally just mentioned.
Unger.
Gary Unger.
Huh.
They both appeared 7 times.
I have his signed hockey puck on my shelf over there.
And then let's see. Let me pull up I got a little infographic I made for this too. All right. So that was most games played, most goals. It's held by 2 players at 3.
Well, you would think Hull, right? Most appearances.
Hull is one of them.
Okay.
Tarasenko.
No.
He
is no longer with us. Pavel Dimitra. Most goals tied with Brett Hull. Most points is held by 1 player. Just take one guess, you'll get it.
Brett Hull.
Brett Hull, 10 points. Most goalie appearances. There are 3 goalies that hold it at 2. Do you know who they are? Mike Liut's one of them. I'm sorry. Mike Liut is not one of them. That's a lie. He was only in 1.
And he was the MVP.
I think so. Yeah.
So two appearances?
2 appearances. There's 3 goalies that have done this. Elliott's one of them.
Yeah. And he sucked, by the way.
Yeah, he was terrible.
He only holds like every goalie record we have.
Good thing they got rid of him.
Yeah. And all-star appearances too, huh?
Jake Allen.
No. The other 2 I'll just tell you because this segment's going a little too long. Nope. No. Glenn Hall and Jacques Plante.
Well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would have taken a while to get to them.
So take that to your next cocktail night for trivia hour.
The projected economic impact of the All-Star Game in St. Louis, $20 million. So there's that. And it would have been really nice if we'd have like it probably been, gosh, maybe a couple million more if there were extensive like bars and restaurants and things immediately surrounding.
Arena district?
You think?
Like Ballpark Village?
You think?
Like Columbus?
It'd be nice to like walk out of Scottrade or Ameritrade and Enterprise. My God, Enterprise Center.
Wow.
And I know Ameritrade. Where the fuck?
Ameritrade could have been Ameritrade.
Yeah, it could have been
because they bought Scottrade.
I was gonna say the Wachovia Center, but you know.
Wells Fargo Center.
And, the greatest in the legacy of Wells Fargo Wachovia was the most appropriately named arena in Philly of all time was the First Union Center, the FU Center.
Yes, nice.
That's good stuff. Yeah, no, and I am. So I've actually never. I don't remember the first All-Star game. Not to talk about my age here, but I am 33.
The first one was 72.
Oh well, not that one, but the last one that was here. I was only 3 years old when that came to town. Actually, I guess I was only 2 at the time. So I don't remember any of it. My dad's told me stories. I've heard from other people, but I'm excited. You know, from what I hear, it's exactly like the Winter Classic in the sense that people outside of St. Louis don't give a shit, but inside St. Louis, it's going to be a party. It's going to be really cool. So I'm really looking forward to it. I want to go to the skills competition.
Yep.
I think that's way more exciting than the game itself.
You know what, though? The skills competition, I mean, I used to love the skills competition.
It's not what it used to be.
No, it sucks now. You know why? They have cartooned that thing up, especially the creative breakaway bullshit they do.
Yeah.
Fucking coming down with a Superman cape and glasses, and like the goalies, they're not even trying to make a save. It's just what the fuck? They're coming down in a costume and doing something goofy, and the goalie rolls over and it goes in. What the fuck is that?
I think they got rid of that finally.
Did they? Okay.
But yeah, they have turned it into an NBA style skills competition, which I don't understand. I don't know why you have to do that.
Right. It was a jump shark kind of event in when they did it in Montreal. The first time they did it, Ovechkin with the Superman cape and. Yeah, just terrible.
I did enjoy the Subban dressing up like Yager. Yeah, that was hilarious.
That was pretty good.
That was good.
Now that's done away with, but they do still have some goofy stuff. I'm not a fan of the goalie shooting at the length of the ice, but at the same time, Mike Smith has done it, so I guess it's hard to really argue that one.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you're keeping it interesting for the players and giving the fans something new. But yeah, I mean the core stuff, the fastest skater, just the straight up breakaway challenge now where you're trying to trick shots and all that shit. But the one-timer challenge, the hardest shot, that's the stuff that the fans really want to see.
Accuracy.
Right. Yeah. That's what I want to see.
Yes.
And like Jeff said, I want to go to that. I could care less about the game.
Right.
And the whole weekend, the weekend is designed for the local teams market and the sponsors. It's a big, event for those two things. This is the one time we get to enjoy that here in St. Louis. So let's do it.
It'd be fun to go to the All-Star game itself and just hang around, not to actually just watch the game.
Right.
I'd like to be around the arena or inside the arena and just hanging out doing stuff. But that would I'm looking forward to it. And I like you guys said, I'd rather go to the skills competition myself too. That's more fun, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Blues prospect or minor league prospect, Costin. Costin versus Canada in the World Juniors. Russia won the bronze medal after Russia's loss to the United States. Costin was a little bit upset over losing. He tossed his helmet, gave his watch away, and yelled "fuck you" to the Canadian crowd who was booing him for his attitude. And then after the game, the next day he wrote an apology letter, which a lot of people are speculating that his agent wrote for him. And then in the bronze medal game against the Swiss, he scored a goal and put Russia up 3-1 and celebrated by
plugging his ears
with his fingers and looking at the crowd. That was pretty awesome. So he finished the tournament with 3 goals, 3 assists, and +2 in the 7 games. And today it came out that he
replaced his agent.
So listen, we're a blues talk show, so we're going to talk about this. But really, my honest opinion about this, I'm not going to take either side. I think social media is to blame for all of this because this is a nothing story. this is Clem Costin upset that he lost, and a bunch of raucous fans booing a teenager. It's a nothing story. I mean, either side, there was both wrong, there was both right. People are, taking the side of, well, he's passionate, that's what we need, and the other side is, oh, he's being a baby. I don't give a shit. If the guy can play hockey, that's what I care about. And I just think this has been so overblown.
You know why it's not a big deal? Because if you look back to, granted, it's a different era, but Blues fans went into the stands in Philly and fought the fans.
Yeah, right.
And now this is a big deal where he says fuck you to the fans when he's skating on the rink. So who cares?
I remember Al Secord getting kicked out of a game at the arena and stood. That was at the old arena. The visiting team came out through the Zamboni gate and had to go back into the bowels of the joint, and he stood at the Zamboni gate and just flipped the bird to the crowd. It's probably 83, 84. And my dad's like, I can't even explain that to you, son. But I knew what it was. It was hilarious. I mean, that's
it is. I mean, if any, I don't know, people, to be honest, I think people who are upset at what he did are overly sensitive. I don't know why that would bother you. It doesn't affect you. Whatever. But
well, there's a lot of pearl clutching going on north of the border.
Well,
they had a kind of poor show it as the hosts.
Yeah, well, you know what?
It was poor sportsmanship.
It was
whatever.
It was absolutely. I'm not saying he was. It was absolutely a poor sport thing to do. But I personally, I'm not going to speak for anybody else. I thought it was awesome. I watched it and I'm like, yeah, that's something I might do. And if I was playing in his shoes, I might do the same kind of thing. I love it. So he's emotional, he's passionate. So that's, now granted, if this becomes a routine, a repetitive thing where he's constantly saying fuck you to the fans, and well, that's kind of a problem. But this is a big tournament and it's a big deal and it was important to him, and he
was passionate.
Yeah, that is whatever.
Yeah.
Well, if I'm taking a side, I'm taking the side that he's a passionate player. That's what you want in a player. And I bitch all the time. Again, I think this is nothing, but I bitch all the time about how players don't have personality in NHL nowadays. They're too afraid to say the wrong thing. He's showing personality. This is what a lot of people want. And now you're going to chastise him for showing he's passionate. Plus, you got to figure the other side of it, too, is that the NHL doesn't participate in the Olympics, as far as we know, and they're not going to for the future. I mean, there's talk they're going to do it in China, but still no word of that yet. So for Clem Costin, this was likely his last chance to really play for his country. And, he wanted to win, and I like that. I want that in a player. I mean, what you're hearing about the Blues locker room right now, this is what you want. Again, I think that this whole thing's been overblown, but if I'm going to take a side, that's the side I'm on.
Yeah. Did you hear about they're talking about having a World Cup of Hockey tournament again in 2020? That's
nothing. That's not playing for your country. That's a gimmick.
No. But I'm kind of halfway changing the subject here about the.
Yeah.
I enjoy the tournament. I like it.
Oh, I like it too, but I know for the players, it's not the Olympics. It's not WJC.
I guess not, but I mean,
especially when you have a team North America and a team World.
Yeah, that or just
or Europe or whatever it was.
The kids that can't get onto the their home team's roster or is made up of countries that don't have enough talent. Anze Kopitar.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah.
That's just a little gimmicky for me. I think that if you want to go all out with this World Cup thing, you really should have like a preliminary tournament with the other countries, do away with the Team North America. But what they're doing is it's just to showcase NHL talent. That's the only reason they're doing it. They found a way to make money where they weren't making money off the Olympics. But yeah, if they really wanted to be serious about this, I think if you went all out, you had a prelim with, the Kazakhstans and the Slovakias and the Slovenias. I think that would be a really cool tournament. I think players would be really excited about it, but they've made it a gimmick, and it's fun to watch, but it's still just a gimmick.
Pat Maroon has JR Rutherford had a story in the Athletic a few days ago. He talked about Pat Maroon and the likelihood that he may be traded soon. He has a full trade clause right now, but on January 31st, it turns into a modified no trade clause where he can give a list of 8 teams he does not want to be traded to. So from February 1st through the 25th, the Blues will have the flexibility to trade him to 22 other teams. I proposed this question. It mentioned that if by a league source, if the Blues can trade him, a league source suggested that a 5th round draft pick was about the best compensation the club could expect. So I tweeted this out and asked people, got a number of responses about if you were the GM and as a fan, what would you do with Maroon if the best return for Maroon was that 5th round draft pick? The options were trade him for the pick, keep him and let him walk at the end of the season, or sign him to an extension. Those are really your 3 options with him at this point. So, and 40% said trade him for the pick, 45% said keep him and let him walk, 15% said sign him to an extension. What do you guys want to do with Pat Maroon?
Okay, I don't want to keep Pat Maroon on this team. It's clear he doesn't work in this system, and he might not even, honestly, the speed that he's lacking, he may not even be a true NHL player at this point. But I would say try to dangle him to Edmonton and Anaheim. They both teams loved him there. He obviously had a lot of success with McDavid. Oilers are going to be making a playoff push here. Maybe you add his piece back, and maybe you find that chemistry again. They traded him off because they weren't a playoff team last year. Well, they are again. So maybe they could find lightning in the bottle, and again, maybe all you get for him is a draft pick. But if you can make it part of a bigger deal and send a couple players over there, get a couple players back, maybe that's a nice option to have. But hey, we don't know. There may be another reason Edmonton decided to move him last year. Maybe there's a locker room issue. I don't know. But I think that's something I would try to pursue first. But if you can get anything for him at this point, he's going to walk. There's no point in signing him to an extension. Just get whatever you can. Hold on to him until the trade deadline if you have to. Actually, February 1st to 25th.
Yep.
So, yeah, I would hold on to him until the 25th if you absolutely have to, and then just dump him off for anything you can get.
Yeah, I think it'd be foolish to let him walk. I think he's I think a lot of teams would be interested in him at the salary since he signed cheap here. So I think getting something for him, whatever it may be, it's not going to be much, but something's better than nothing. And I agree with you, Jeff. It's interesting how different a player can look in different systems, different situations. He is slow, which we knew that going in. He was slow, but I've been shocked at how minimalistic his net front presence is, and how poor his hands are. I mean, I always thought, well, he's slow, but he's got pretty good hands around the net. No, not really. I mean, he's a big guy who hasn't even really thrown his weight around that much. He's had a couple of fights. I made a comment that was on Twitter about that. Actually, Phil Maroon jumped me on over was the about how I was surprised about how much Pat Maroon loses the puck behind the end red line when he's battling for the puck. He gets out muscled, outworked, and
constantly.
Yeah, all the time.
Yep.
And I was jumped on for that. I'm like, what the fuck? It's eye test. You can see it. I mean, I don't know what the.
Here's the problem, and I think that part of it was hype, and I think part of it was just what we've seen him do with other teams. I was under the belief that he was a very, very light version of Keith Kachuk. And by that, I meant he's not fast, but he's good to go to the net. He's good around, like you said, good hands around the net. He doesn't get worked off the puck. But let's be honest, all we've seen him do this season, and I mentioned on the show before, he gets hit, he gets knocked off the puck, he doesn't even react. He just skates away and just lets it happen, which was not anything I thought that I would see from him.
So,
And he's just not a strong puck handler by any means, any imagination. And again, you thought, okay, this guy's a former 30 goal scorer with the Oilers. He's got to have some good soft hands there, right? I mean, he's got Jamal Mayer's hands.
Obviously Maroon can perform in certain situations. He's proven that.
Right. The situations where he's been successful, the two most successful situations he's been in the NHL were Anaheim and Edmonton. And he was playing with world-class centers who could do all the work and set him up with incredible passes. The Blues have decent centers, but they can't afford to put Pat Maroon on their line.
Well, yeah, I mean, would you rather have Berglund or Maroon at this point?
Berglund.
Isn't that sad?
Well, yeah, but Jeff and I were also both Berglund fans.
True. I was not. So
I just think that Berglund offers. I mean, again, he's not an elite by any means either, but I think he's got more of a scoring touch. I think he's better defensively. He's quicker, not a lot quicker, but he's quicker. And I think he's just his hockey IQ looks better. And I hate to be ragging on Pat because we've seen what this guy can do on other teams. It's just he doesn't look like the same player on this roster. He doesn't even look like he belongs in the NHL at this point. And maybe you trade him and all of a sudden that happens. And people, of course, would say, well, why did we trade him? He's not going to do it here. And I think he's made that clear. So you just got to move on at this point.
Yeah. I feel like he was a, low risk, potentially high reward signing. That's how we look at it.
Well,
when he was brought in because of what he had done in other places, and he's the hometown boy, and he's a great story that you can sell. Hey, we can put out a bobblehead for him and get.
That's a cool bobblehead.
Up. It
was an awesome bobblehead. You know what though? I would say at the Maroon signing, I would have said that was a no risk, high reward signing. I would say there was like for the contract we signed him for, 1 year, 1.75. That was half of what he was going to get somewhere else. And I'm like, oh hell yeah, that's a. I mean, it doesn't matter if he does nothing, and he's doing next to nothing as it is. So I don't think he's hurting us financially because of his play, but I think because of his salary and the fact that other teams might still find value in him, I think they can get something for him. Ray in the YouTube chat says, asks, would Maroon be succeeding under decent coaching? And I don't know if it's coaching. I think it's just a well, maybe it is coaching with a different system, different players. I mean, it's like you guys said, he can succeed like a lot of players could if you play on a line with a world-class center.
Ryan Getzlaf, Connor McDavid.
Right. So I think that frees him up for more stuff. He doesn't have to do as much work, maybe. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, he did have a rib injury and a knee thing, but yeah, he said he's healthy though. He's fine.
Well, I know that we say world class center. You got Getzlaf and McDavid. McDavid's obviously in a class of his own, but I mean, really, at the end of the day, Ryan O'Reilly, in terms of talent, isn't that far behind Getzlaf. Now, Getzlaf's going to put up more points, but the difference is he's not that type of center that a Pat Maroon needs. Ryan O'Reilly's, he's going to shoot the puck more. He's going to, he's going to create space, whereas Ryan Getzlaf's going to thread the needle every chance he gets. Adam Oates type player that's going to try and pass it every chance he gets, and that's why Maroon was successful with him. There's just not that type of center with the Blues. The centers on this team, the closest thing you have to that, I think, is Jaden Schwartz on the wing, but you're not going to put the slowness of foot of Maroon with Jaden Schwartz and Braden Shen. That line needs to work off a little speed.
Yeah, And Maroon did get at the beginning of the season under the dearly departed Mike Yo, did get a chance to play with Tarasenko and O'Reilly, and that lasted all of 5 periods. I think it was broken up the second game.
Yeah, I think we even said that because in the training camp that was the line they were pushing, and then they had I can't remember who they had with Schwartz and Shen, but might have been Prawn. But either way, yeah, we said at that time that line they're going to give so much time to try and figure it out together, because that's the line they want to be on the first line, because you got O'Reilly with 2 guys that can shoot the puck and score. But I think quickly, and as dense as Mike Yo was as head coach, I think quickly the coaching staff realized, man, Maroon is an anchor on this line. You can't have this guy out there with 2 elite playmakers like Tarasenko and O'Reilly.
It's crazy how different Maroon has panned out than we thought he might. It's like night and day.
And it's sad. Everybody
it is sad.
It to work out.
And and from everything he's a great guy. And I feel really bad for him. And I'm not hating on the guy. I just, I'm just, you know what I mean?
He hasn't added to this team as he was expected to.
I don't think anybody hates him. He seems like a really nice guy. Everybody's pulling for him.
Right.
And it's just,
it's a great story.
It's just not working out.
He gets to play here in front of his kid, and it's not working out for
him. I know. That's gonna be rough.
And yeah, I hate the thought that's probably not going to last for him.
Well, and it's making you think too, because we've said before, back when Paul Stastny was signed, and we, hey, hometown boy, he's going to be motivated. Okay, Paul Stastny, he was okay, didn't work out, didn't pan out to the contract. Okay, hey, here's Pat Maroon. He's gonna step in as a hometown boy and do some great stuff. That's not working out. Maybe the Blues should stop signing the hometown boys.
It's a good thing Pat LaFontaine didn't sign here. Otherwise, he wouldn't be in the Hall of Fame.
That's true.
Excellent point. Excellent point.
Jordan Binnington got the call in nets the other night against Philadelphia. Gets the shutout in his first NHL start. In his only other action this year with the Blues, he allowed 2 goals on 13 shots versus Pittsburgh on December 29th. And 2 goals on 12 shots versus Calgary on December 16th. Both games were in relief of Jake Allen. His stats in San Antonio last season: 17-9-0, 205 GAA and a 926 save percentage. This season, he's 11-4-0 with a 208 GAA and a 926 save percentage. So it's pretty. Last 2 seasons down in San Antonio has been pretty consistent. Binnington was sent down to the Rampage to get in some work before, because while he was here, he didn't get much game action. And his last start in San Antonio, before being called back up, he pitched a shutout. So Monday night versus the Flyers, he stopped all 25 shots that came his way, and he looked really good. He stopped the shots that were stoppable, and he made a few excellent saves on top of that. So
yeah, I want to get Bill's opinion on what his game looked like, but all that I want to say is I loved, and I put this on Twitter, and I had a couple people giving me shit about it, and whatever.
Of course.
Whatever. Yeah, I just said I like the way he plays. I like how he was on top of the crease. He was challenging shooters, and he just, I don't know. He looked more square to shots. He was ready. And I know that I'm not trying to compare him to Jake Allen. It's 1 game. So I'm not saying I'm ready to see him go as the starter. We'll get to that conversation here in a minute. But I thought that was a great game. And we've been saying, and I know you guys have said this too, Allen had 14 straight starts. And it's not that he was awful throughout that whole time, but it was clear he was winding down. And yet they kept putting him out there. And then they would pull him and put Binnington in. And Binnington wouldn't look good in relief. And so it was, well, obviously Binnington's not ready either. Give him a fucking start. See what he does in a start. And they finally do it, and look at that. All of a sudden, whoa, holy moly, he pitches a fucking shutout.
Yeah. So my impression of his game was that it was the first time it looked like a Blues goalie had been comfortable in the net for a while. Like he had an ease about his game. Like Jeff said, he was on top of his crease. He was assertive. He played his angles well. He wasn't overly aggressive. A point that we'll get to a little bit later in the Jake Allen section of the show. But he looked comfortable, he looked confident, and he provided the Blues a game that they needed. And I thought absolutely he deserved to get the start the next night, not because he should be anointed the starter, but because he played a great game and the team looked great in front of him. So reward him. But before that game was even over, even before we knew the shutout was there, I knew that he wasn't going to get the chance because Craig Berube and Doug Armstrong are fucking morons. I'm sorry. This team is fucking stupid when it comes to goaltender decisions. They're afraid of creating a goalie controversy, but the goalie controversy is that your goalie fucking sucks. I'm sorry.
Well, what's annoying, and we don't need to get into this. I mean, we've talked about this before, but you look at the tweet that Jeremy Rutherford put out. I think it was yesterday. Phoenix Copley having a great season in Washington. Why the hell was he traded back to Washington?
Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah, I that made that at the time. We're like, what? Why did what?
It made no sense in that trade.
I know. I don't. Has Armstrong been asked about that? I guess he has been. Maybe I haven't seen.
I don't know. If he would have been asked about it, I think Rutherford would have included that in the article. It was just a tweet. So I don't know. Maybe there's an article to come. JR, write that story if you're not.
Yeah. I know you're listening, JR. Come on, buddy.
Yeah, chop.
No, I don't. Again, I know we're going to talk here in a little bit about the Dallas game and Jake Allen going back in the net, but I think it just can't be understated or overstated enough that Jordan Binnington just, he hadn't had an NHL start yet, but he looked so ready for that start. And I know that you see a lot of these goalies come in from the AHL and have a good first game because they're just so excited to get started, but this guy, and I said this a couple weeks ago, the talk has always been Ville Husso. Jake Allen's a starter now. Ville Husso is going to take it over. Oh, we got this Fitzpatrick kid coming up. Bennington's been kind of forgotten in the shuffle. And you look at, and Kurt, you just rattled off his numbers for the last couple of years. He's putting up great numbers in the AHL. Like, let's not forget about Jordan Binnington. He's obviously a guy that could step in, and I'm not saying he's going to be a starter. And Kurt, I know where you're laughing because I'm about to say it. But yeah, he's a guy that could easily step in and be a decent goalie in the NHL. And it really does beg to ask the question, why not Binnington?
What about Binnington? Wait, why not? Why not Binnington?
The obligatory screw up every time.
It was funny because people on Twitter, and by people on Twitter, I mean the Jake Allen fans, what I'm talking about here, were after the game, near the end of the game, we could see what was happening, and at the end of the game, they were mocking the idea, almost like mocking the idea before it was even mentioned. By other Blues fans that Binnington should be the Blues starter now based on one, you have people that say, oh, let's make Binnington the starter, either jokingly or some people are serious, whatever. But first of all, let me say that nobody's saying to instantly anoint Binnington as our number one goalie based on one start in the NHL. Yeah. That's not being said. No one's saying that. But it's a nice try to make the people who have been critical of Allen look kind of stupid.
Yeah.
So I knew Jake Allen, should he have started last night's game versus Dallas? I mean,
no.
We're all of the same opinion. No? Okay.
No, absolutely not.
I think after the game, I was like, I know what's going to happen. He shouldn't start, but I know he's going to.
And something you didn't mention yet, Kurt. Sorry to interrupt, but the game before the Islanders, that was an abysmal performance. So it's not only that Jordan Binnington steps in, yes, against a lowly Flyers team and gets a shutout. It's not only that; it's that the last time Jake Allen was on ice, he looked like absolute dog shit. He lost that game for the Blues, and you got a goalie who went in and won the game for the Blues. That's an easy decision. Why are you overthinking it?
And there's a thing too. There's like half of a controversy now with goaltending. People, oh well, we saw Binnington pitch a shutout in his first NHL start. Let's give him some more starts. The Allen supporters, no, he's not the number one. It's back to Allen now. I look at it this way, and I tweeted this out. It says a lot about Allen, about how Allen has played, when a 7-year minor league goalie comes in and plays like that in his first NHL start, one start. And then all of a sudden, you've got people want to see Allen sit so Binnington can play more. That if we had a real number one goalie, honest to God, fucking number one, legit goalie, this shit wouldn't be an issue. No. You give your backup a start. He pitches a shutout. Great, fantastic, good job. You did your job as a backup. Now we're going back to our number one guy because there's no question who the number one guy should be, and that's our number one. We don't have that here. And when a 7-year AHL guy comes in, pitches a shutout, and all of a sudden, whoa, half the fan base wants to start Binnington. And it's like, well, yeah, we want to start him because the other guy is, you never know what the fuck you're going to get, and half the time it's shit. So that's, you can't blame fans for wanting Binnington to start and being crazy that way. You got to blame Allen for not taking the number one job by the throat. Like Bill said, you have to blame management and coaching for that too. Yeah, no, I agree. For having the whole situation there to start with. Yeah, it's just sticking with Allen.
Yeah, I mean, so are we done with the Philly game? Do you want to talk about that? So,
Kurt, let me ask you a question, Kurt. Can I write an article on Let'sGoBlues.com?
You can, you can write an article.
All right, I'm going to tell you what the title is right now. And it's going to be borrowed from Mr. Bill Day. It's going to be called The Legacy of Doug Armstrong. And it's going to be about the goaltending blunders that we've seen with this team.
Okay.
Yeah. We're going to break it down. Bill, you want to help me with it?
Absolutely.
All right, let's do it.
It's a co-author.
Yeah. Yeah. So last night's game, I thought was like offered so many insights into both how bad Jake Allen is when he's not on his game, which is normally the case. But Bill, when he's on his game, he's borderline elite. Can't you fucking say that about every goalie in the NHL? When they're on their game, they're elite. Well, yeah,
dude, he won a series. He won a series for the Blues like 3 years ago, guys.
Sorry.
We forgot about that.
Go ahead, Bill.
We forgot about that. So, but you put him out there against the first guy that was the casualty of, well, we've got Jake Allen in the pipeline. He's going to be our guy. Ben Bishop was the first blue chip prospect goalie we had. And then Jake Allen came along and they're like, you know what? He's expendable. We'll flip him to Ottawa, I think it was.
Ottawa, yep.
So Ben Bishop was that guy. And he could have been the Pat Maroon, the hometown story.
Yeah, that's true.
And I mean, out of all the guys, because I'm a goalie, out of all the guys that came up in St. Louis, he was the guy that I wanted to see succeed here. I was, he tall, athletic. He had everything. He was young and unpolished. And, so the Blues make the decision that he's not going to be our guy. We're going to, we got Jake Allen, and then Bishop, now probably at peak part of his career, comes in here and plays a hell of a fucking game last night. He was incredible in the third period.
Oh God.
So Jake Allen made a couple of great saves in the third period.
He did,
but he gave up the goal that should end his NHL career. That goal that he gave up to Tyler
Well-
Seguin, the second goal Seguin scored last night, should be the last goal he is allowed to concede in the Blues uniform. Inexcusable.
Yeah. The third goal, inexcusably bad. And there's no reason that goal should ever go in on any goalie ever. A peewee goalie stops that shot. But the second goal was not near as bad as that one, but it was bad.
Yes.
Because
yes.
I showed the screenshots in the notes here of when the shot's taken. Because at the time, at full speed, I thought, oh, maybe Edmondson screened him and he didn't get a look at it, or maybe it was deflected. No, when the shot is let go, he has a clear lane to the puck. He can see it easily. He's looking right at it. There's no one in the way, and he missed it. It went 5-hole.
Right. He did not have his stick where it should have been.
No. Well, it is here, but he lifted it. And the screenshot, it's on the ice, but when he goes down, it came up. His stick came up.
If you watch him closely, that's common with him. That is common with him. He's always lifting his stick, and it always goes through his legs. It's frustrating. Yeah, I mean, I said that the minute that goal went in. I was sitting here with my wife watching the game, and it goes in, and I right away just goes, "Oh, Jesus Christ, Jake!" And she goes, "Oh, it looks like you screened." I go, "No, let's watch the replay. I'm pretty sure he had a full eye on it." And then Kurt, like you said, you've maybe you should share that on Twitter.
Right now, I'm doing
you can see when the shot's taken. Clear view. All he needs to do is get his body square to where the shot's coming. He can read it off the stick. Even if a guy steps in front of him, he should still be able to make the save because he sees it where it's going to go off the stick. And it just beats him clean. I mean, I know it's a 5-on-3, so you could say, well, that's just, 5-on-3, that, chances are team's going to score. But that's a stoppable shot. I mean, any goalie in the league can make that save on that shot.
Yeah, he should have.
Yeah. I mean, if there's any fault of the defense on the play, it's that, and I can't really fault them because it's a 5-on-3. They got pushed down on top of the crease. That's going to happen. But again, Jake Allen was all the way back in the net, probably because the pressure, of everybody on top of him.
You know what though? Come out,
right.
create contact, and get goal through interference. I mean, that's the
thing. He doesn't ever. When was the last time you saw him initiate contact?
No, well, it's hard for him to do that because he plays so far back in his net half the time.
Yeah.
When he's struggling and he's back in his net and he's not challenging. It's like he's timid. He's either doing that or he's overplaying pucks. He has a hard time finding that sweet spot, the top of the crease.
Yeah, I have to agree with St. Louis game time. I know we'll probably talk about that save, quote unquote, that he made where he jumped back into the crease last second because he came out to play it and mishandled. And
it was fun to watch.
At the end of the day, he did the right thing. He made the save, and you got to be happy for it. But at the same time, he put himself in that position.
Yeah, that's
right.
You don't get. That's what this is the exact same situation of giving Armstrong tons and tons of credit for dumping a bad contract he created in the first place.
Yep. Yeah, it is exactly the on ice version of Doug Armstrong.
Right. Which hallelujah, you save the day at the end of the day, but God damn it if you didn't create the problem in the first place. So
yeah. So one of my favorite things I saw last night was that there were a few memes of that play, and my favorite was Jake Allen's Bird Box moment.
Yeah, that was good stuff.
I haven't seen Bird Box either, but I'm getting it now. They have to wear a blindfold through the whole thing.
Oh, okay. I've seen those. I've seen pictures of that.
Yeah, they have to be like blindfolded because if they look into the demon, they get possessed or something.
Yeah.
But no, that is funny. Yeah. Something that I heard, I think I've mentioned on the show that I actually watched the other team's telecasts just because you learn more when you watch the other team's telecasts about the other team.
Peg, holy jumping!
That's not where I was going, but that's true. But
just real quick on the Jake out on that goal. Jake, you could hear him trying to find a way to defend it. He's
I know.
No, it's just a bad goal.
Yeah. That actually surprised me
Yeah.
that he actually came out and said that's a bad goal. I mean, it's a bad goal. It's a shit goal when Pang says it's a bad goal on a Blues goalie. Because
and let's face it. I mean, that's not the first goal of the game. That's not even a goal that's putting a team up 2-1. That's a back-breaking goal. I mean, it was 3-1 at that point, right?
It was 3-0 at that point.
3-0.
And you know what? To the Blues' credit, after that goal, they did play very well. It could have been like demoralizing. Oh my God, another one goes in right after, kind of a goal. But they actually played well after that, I thought.
Yeah, they did.
And they had a very good third period, offensive pressure wise. They couldn't beat Bishop, but that's enough to even come close to winning the game. But I mean, was it the third goal? Sagan's goal was the third goal. His second of the game. Dallas's play-by-play guy on the third goal. I should have recorded this and played the clip. It would be funnier. I don't know what Allen was doing on that one.
Yeah,
it's like,
well, and that's why I was bringing up that I watched the other team's telecast. I heard him say that, and I was like, yeah, I'm with you, man. But I remember I watched the Buffalo game, the game the Blues did win. But one of their keys to the game was to get on Jake Allen early because the crowd will turn on him. So if you score on him early, the crowd will boo him, and then he will play poorly. Even other teams' broadcasters know that he's not a strong goaltender, especially if he gives up a goal. So, yeah, that goal goes in, and you think, well, they're keeping him in. That means the Blues are going to lose 7-0.
We got a couple of things in the YouTube chat. Jake Allen's Mask says, let's see. Let's go back a little bit. Bennington totally looked comfortable. That was Mandarin Melon. Ray Standeffer says, been nasty. Deanna Walker, why not Bennington? Jake Allen's Mask, Winnington. I like that one. I like Winnington a lot, actually.
Yeah.
I do too, but I also like Deanna. Thank you for saying it correctly.
What about Bennington? Should do a little what about Bob parody.
That's a great you know what? That's going to be image for Instagram for the show.
All right. I want credit on that. Mandarin Mellon says Bishop looked like Zeus next to Allen last night, which is true. I mean, yeah. Bob Rakowski says if that messes with the psyche, his experiment would be over. No harm, no foul. Jake Allen's Mask says sad that it took being down 3-0 to step their game up. And Jake Allen's Mask said 4 minutes of power play time to start the game and nothing to show for it. That's true. Oh, I meant to skip one. Jake Allen's Mask says, serious question. What happens if Bennington gets rocked against Dallas? Do you blame that on the lack of rest or that it was only his second start? Does that mess with his psyche? I think it's a
gamble you got to take.
Well, you know what? If it depends on the goals he allows and how they go in, and it's I'm not gonna like generalize it because if they're shitty goals against, then they're shitty goals and it's his fault. But I don't know. If he gets rocked, he gets rocked. You have to go back with him because your alternative is a guy who is a roller coaster head case. So,
yeah.
No, you know what? I will generalize it. I will say that, yeah, if he gets rocked in that game, I don't think it messes with his psyche because he's not Jake Allen. Jake Allen's a special kind of psyche. I mean, he knows it's the NHL. You're playing a back-to-back after your first NHL start. I mean, still a hats off for having a shutout in your first NHL start. But, yeah, I mean, if he gets rocked, he gets rocked. Like Bill said, that's the flip of the coin that could happen in any NHL game. But right now, and I know that Allen fans are going to hate me for saying this, just because I literally trust anyone over Jake Allen, I would rather have Bennington and net over Jake Allen. I don't care what time of day, how many games he's played. I don't care what it is. Give me Jordan Bennington.
Give me almost anyone. I mean, I don't mean that as a whatever kind of comment. I'm serious. I've said this before. I was done. I was completely done with Allen after last season. And this season, I really don't care who plays in his place because he's one of the worst number one goalies, statistically speaking, in the NHL this season. You play somebody else, they can't play. The results are not going to be much worse, I don't think. I mean, and if they are, then so what? You're in last place still.
Yeah, it's a roll of the dice. I mean, we talk about it with the last live show we had. We talked about, well, who would you rather have, Berglund or Maroon? And the conversation kind of led to, well, you know what you're going to get out of Berglund. You could still get something great out of Maroon. It's the same thing here with goaltending. You know what you're going to get out of Jake Allen. You're going to get one good start out of 10, and he's going to give up 5, 6, 7 spot one of those games. You got to take the unknown at this point. You got to say, well, Jordan Bennington's had some rough games here and there, or Ville Husso's never played in the NHL, or even Fitzpatrick's never seen an NHL shot before. Yeah, you know what? You don't know what you're going to get, but what you could get is better than what Jake Allen has given you.
We're going to open up the show for listeners to join us for a few minutes. If you'd like to join the show and chat with us sound off about Jake Allen or anything else shortly, I'll tweet the link out right now, and you can. There it is. The Twitter account is @LGB Radio. You can go on there and you can click on that link and join us if you want. The standings right now: 17, 20, and 4 are the Blues. 7 points out of a wild card spot with 6 teams to climb over to get there. They do have games in hand, but it doesn't matter if you don't win them. Trivia for you guys. Okay. Who has the fewest road losses in the Western Conference? There are 2 teams tied for the fewest road losses in the Western Conference.
There's a reason you're asking us this.
No cheating. Don't look.
I'm not looking.
All right.
There's a reason you're asking us this.
Right. So I got to go with the Blues for one of them.
Yeah, I'll go Blues and Flames.
Blues and Sharks.
Blues and Jets. Fewest road losses in the West. Blues and Jets. However, the caveat for the Blues are they've only played 16 road games, I think it is, and they've not many. So that's partially why.
Yeah.
They are 500 on the road. And they are a few games under at home.
You and your misleading stats.
You know what? You know what I hate? You know what I absolutely hate? I mean, we've seen teams before. I mean, the 05, 06, all those years there with the number 1 picks coming in. We've seen these years where they've just been frustrating to watch, and you say, okay, it's December. They're not going to make the playoffs. It's just not going to happen. It's fine. Just enjoy the rest of the season. Maybe there's just some weird optimist side of me that I've never had before. But I do, when they win a game, I say, okay, if they get on a roll, you just never know. And I don't know why and I guess the reason, what I do know why. I know why. Because we know this team can play better. We know this team has the ability to be a good hockey team. I mean, the fact that they've beaten some of the teams they've beaten, the games they've had. I mean, you look back at the Toronto game, the Calgary game before Christmas, the Buffalo game. They just looked solid for 60 minutes. We know they have it in them. And it's so frustrating because they get a win and you say, okay, this could be it. Maybe this is where they figure it out. But then they just come out and have another shit loss like they had to the Islanders or last night to the Stars, where just shit goals go in.
Deanna Walker says, Allen honks are coming for you, Jeff.
Bring it on, bitches.
Mandarin Mellon says, Jordan probably sees his opportunity as well. He could be a hero if he was somehow given the nod and takes us to a playoff spot. Jake Allen's Mask says, are you going to blow up if Allen starts tomorrow? It's a great question. Does Allen start tomorrow? Okay. I get that you could probably break that up in 2 questions. Should he start and will he start?
Yes. No and yes.
I don't think he starts.
No,
I don't. Why? Why?
He's right. They have the excuse that, you know what, he got beat up pretty bad. He's being pretty hard on himself for that bad goal that he let in at the end of the game. He needs a game to sit and think. And but then on the flip side is he's a proud guy. This is his hometown team. We want to play him. And then Doug Armstrong is like, wait, we have backup goalies?
You know what, though? I will say that I agree. I think Binnington plays, and I would play Binnington. But man, I gotta say, if I know I've been kind of harsh with Tom Stillman because I put a lot of this on him for making Doug Armstrong still lead this team. But man, if Jake Allen starts tomorrow, I'm marching my ass into Doug Armstrong's office and saying, dude, either you're fired or you go fire Craig Berube right now. I mean, that can't happen. You can't have him start tomorrow night.
That was a question in the YouTube chat. Let's see. Will we have a head coach before the end of the season? Jake Allen's mask. At this point, no. I say no. If we were going to have a new one, it would have happened a lot sooner. Right now, you're kind of in like a purgatory type time frame. I think. I don't think unless it's like unless you're bringing up like a minor league coach. I don't think any experienced veteran head coach is going to come in at this point with this team right now in the season.
Yeah, no. The Quenneville pipe dream is over.
Until we get to the offseason.
Right, until the offseason.
Yeah.
But if somebody can convince him in season, then it's done. But what's the point?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. If Quinn were to sign here next week, why? Well, I mean that's you're asking him to essentially turn the team around. Then I mean, most coaches probably want to just get in fresh start, get training camp with their system and go from there. Yeah. Josh Vance says in the YouTube chat, a little digression. At what point is the season a complete loss and we start hoping for a first-round pick? Too early? I
think that was mid-December.
So I'm friends with pretty good friends with a guy who's an LA Kings fan, and they pretty much knew, after October that they were going to be a draft lottery team. And I asked him, I'm like, so, what do you root for every night? He's like, I root for the Kings to win. I don't care. He's like, I can't root for my team to lose.
Right.
And I think back to back when, it was the 05-06 year, where the year before they drafted Johnson. I remember that too. I remember just saying, I know this team isn't doing anything, and I know that we need the number one pick, but I don't want to lose to the Red Wings. I don't want to lose to the Blackhawks. I don't want to lose to the Avalanche. Like, thinking about all these teams I didn't want to lose to, and I'm still like that. I try
not to think too far ahead. As a Blues fan, you get in trouble if you do that. So I don't do it quite as much as I used to, but I'm always like, okay, here's the situation, here's the scenario. We're this far out of the playoffs. Playoffs are the goal. If we do this, teams in front of us aren't playing out of this world either. If we can get on a roll, you never know. Like you said earlier, Jeff, you never know if you get on a roll. And I do the same thing. After a win, okay, they played well. And they played, they played really well against Dallas. They deserve to win that game. But Bishop stymied them, which is a story this time and time again. It sucks to say that.
It's the Bishop stymieing them, and then Allen let him down.
Right. Allen let him down in net with 2 goals that he should have had. And then Bishop was fantastic in the third. So that's, 27 shots to 17 is what the Blues outshot the 17 shots. 17 fucking shots you allow when you allow 3 goals. That's you should win every time.
There's only one thing worse than that: 4 goals on 14 shots.
Right. That was the Islanders game, right?
Right.
Yep.
And actually, it was 3 goals on something like 14 shots, but because he made a few saves after that. So
yeah.
Yeah,
because they weren't putting Fitzpatrick in that
game. More questions in the YouTube chat, more discussion. Let's see. This team is awesome as individuals for sure, Josh Vance says. Not as a team. Mandarin Melon versus Washington. The Blues were a nightmare. Yeah. Well, they beat Washington. Didn't they? They beat Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the game nobody expects them to play,
Right. Yeah.
and they put together a team game that Sundqvist, had gotten taken out by Wilson in the preseason, and everybody responded, and it looked like it was for Sonny.
Hawaii Blues fan says hi from Hawaii. Aloha from Hawaii.
I was gonna say he didn't say
No, he didn't say hi.
from
No,
Hawaii.
he didn't say hi from Hawaii.
Right.
Aloha, guy.
Bonjour, guy.
Alan's Mask says enough about Alan. Thoughts on Perron having as many goals as Schwartz and Tarasenko combined. Perron's been a nice. Perron. You can't complain about Perron. I mean,
you can.
You can.
And you do.
Well, you can. You do, but you really don't as much because of his production has been good this year.
I know we talked about it in our the show that we had after the Ryan O'Reilly trade, but if you would have asked me after the signing, right after the signing, what do you think? I would have been like, what the fuck is Armstrong doing? I was pissed off. But then when the changes just started going way through the offense, I said, he's going to have a new cast of characters to play with. Let's see what he can do. And I liked his game. I mean, I know he got the healthy scratch earlier, and I know that Berube's not been a huge fan of his play from time to time, but I think overall he's been good. I think he's earning his contract. I think he's going above his contract. What they signed him to wasn't too awful, I don't think. The one that I'm questioning now, and I think everyone is Tyler Bozak.
Yeah, they talked about the Rivers and Kimball talked about it in the last show, and about how the panic signing at the start of free agency, and had they made the O'Reilly trade first, they would have never signed Bozak. So, Hawaii Blues fan says, sorry, we're not able to get together. Maybe next time. Oh, that was okay. Yeah. Maybe next time. Yeah. He was in town recently for his birthday. Josh Vance says, why do you think O'Reilly and Tarasenko appear to not have chemistry? Or do you think they do? How are the two top players not connecting as well? Tarasenko hasn't had chemistry with anybody.
Yeah.
I don't think it's O'Reilly. It's Tarasenko. He's got to do it himself if he produces, more or less.
Yeah, I think about 2 years ago on this show we talked about how the Blues need to find that elite setup guy for him. But I mean, they've tried a couple guys out for him now. They've tried out Shen and O'Reilly, and lately they've even tried Bozak. And
hasn't he got a little bit of a look?
Stastny, yeah. I mean, they've tried out different guys for him, and it's just he's not worked with any of them. And it's at this point, it's on him. He needs to figure his game out before the Blues start going out and trying to acquire more centers and trying out every center in the league. I mean, it seems like at this point, the only one that's going to work for him is McDavid or Crosby.
So real quick, and not to go back to Jake Allen, but I had some stuff here. His situational save percentage, okay, with Jake Allen. He's 32nd in high danger save percentage, 32nd ranked in the NHL at a 79.8% save percentage in high danger situations, meaning high pressure scoring chances, great scoring chances on the ice. 61st in medium danger scoring chances, and 49th in low danger scoring chances. He's 49th in NHL in save percentage in low danger scoring chances, like shots from the point or easy saves, basically. So that's one thing. So, and his expected save percentage versus the actual save percentage. For those who don't know, expected save percentage is the save percentage that a goalie should have with a league average performance, given the quality of shots, quality of chances he's faced. It's important to note that expected save percentage is not a measure of how the goalie has actually performed. It merely serves as a benchmark for the save percentage that an average goalie should have posted, given the quality of chances he faced. I love this stat. So Allen's expected save percentage this season 9.23, which is 23rd in the NHL in expected save percentage, which means 22 teams have been better defensively in front of their goalies than the Blues have been, which sounds about right. Allen's actual save percentage, 8.96. So he's well below what it should be based on the quality of shots he's faced, according to advanced hockey stats, however much stock you put in advanced statistics for save percentage.
Yeah, goaltending advanced stats are becoming much better than they were a couple years ago.
I like the expected save percentage. That's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah.
It really shows. It really shows how. It really shows how a goalie is performing based on how he should be performing, and it's telling.
It's no matter how you cut it, Jake Allen's not an NHL goalie.
No, I mean, if he's a backup.
Yeah.
He's a backup, is what he is. So the Twitter. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that I think lately too, I feel like and again, maybe we need to pull out the advanced stats to look at that, but I feel like lately the Blues' defense has been better. I feel like they've
I agree.
Really they've tightened up a lot in the last 10 to 15 games, yet we're still seeing the same results in goal.
I agree. I mean, people want to give Allen all the credit for that
little turnaround we had in December.
Right. But I think, you could tell the team played better in front of him.
Yeah. The one thing I've noticed over the last 2 games is that Jay Bouwmeester has his stride back.
Yeah. Which
he does.
About that, I've game in and game out for the past however many games, I'm not pissed at Bouwmeester. And I'm like, that's fantastic.
I'd say it's been since about early last month. It's been about a month now.
Yeah, and that's been something that we should have talked about more, I think, because we've been on him heavily for a long time, and he's been good for a while now.
He's honestly like faster. It seemed like every single game there was some kind of gaff in his game. He was puck was going off his stick and going to the net, or his foot, or he was turning the puck over. He was
couldn't get
way off on positioning. Yeah, he couldn't get out of his own way. But then all of a sudden, like a light just switched on, and it was just, oh, hey, wait a minute. If I just don't do that shit, I'll be fine. And he's looked good. I've actually enjoyed his game lately.
Yeah, I've not
that it's like an explosiveness in his stride. Like he gets that speed that he had when he first got after like 2 steps, and it's for a guy his age, that's amazing.
So do you sign him to a 2-year deal for $2 million?
I was just gonna say that.
You figure out who's the sucker that's gonna trade for him now.
Oh man, that's true. I mean, a deadline deal, right?
Yeah.
It's
perfect.
5 years, $10 million. Here it comes.
Oh, he'd be lucky to get 2 somewhere.
Oh, but he's gonna get it in St. Louis. That's all he needs.
2 years, $2 million per.
God,
so this, and we've talked about it a lot, but this tweet was put out. A bunch of people responded to it with it was a question. Jake Allen has his share of supporters. You know who you are. Why is that? Do you feel he's better than he's performed? Is he a number 1 goalie? Is the best yet to come? Explain. So there were a number of responses. I'll read through a couple of them. The Drop Podcast said, although you'll say it's bad, he has lifetime regular season of 255 GAA, win a career save percentage of 911. His playoff stats are even better: 210 goals against average and 927 save percentage. Those stats are why people support him. I'm sure you will tell me those are bad numbers. Let's see what else we got here. Derek Ballman, the game against the Islanders was the last straw for me. I've been trying to stay positive with Allen because he's shown flashes of greatness, and I thought the potential was there, but I don't think that anymore. I'm ready to move on. Let's see. Let's Go Blues. Seriously. Says, as for him being a number 1 goaltender, it's so hard to say yes without saying no. He's just so inconsistent. It's crazy, but he is our number one guy. Bennington got a shutout in his first game, but he was also playing the last place Flyers, which, is true. And the team was definitely having a decent night. The Tarasenko's Glasses posted a meme saying, "Dear Jake Allen, we're all behind you. Sincerely, the Pucks."
I love it.
Yeah, this is a good response to that question. So the Blue Puck says Allen has proved to be a solid goalie in the NHL. At his best, he can steal games and playoff series, which he has shown. We could do 10 shows on these comments, right?
Yeah.
Well, there's one that
watch him more than every couple of years.
There's one that I liked, and I don't know, maybe you said this one, I didn't hear you, but it was from Q 2000. He says he's stolen one playoff series, and that will be enough in some people's minds.
Yeah, I saw that one. Yeah,
that's a good one.
Which is a truth.
Yeah, he has stolen a playoff series. He was fantastic in that series.
And it is enough in some people's minds.
And it was 3 years ago.
One of our friends that tunes into our YouTube chat, Bob Rakowski, he says, I think Allen will have a decent to excellent next season if he gets out of here.
Yeah. Okay, enough Jake Allen. Tired of Jake Allen.
What else we got to talk about?
Let's see. The YouTube chat. Advanced stats are stupid. Spoon fudge. Okay. That's. I mean, he could expand on that a little bit. Does a goalie win? Okay. Spoon fudge. Does a goalie win or not? Okay, I get it. So it's just about winning or losing, which I respect that.
Very binary.
But I mean, that's the Chris Osgood situation, the Niemi situation in Chicago. Just win, Mm-hmm. So and that I think ties more into the team in front of you. I mean, you could be, if you have a fantastic team, obviously you might not need quite as good a goalie in net. You can get away with a 2 or 3 goals against in a game and still win most of the time. So that's more of a team thing, I guess.
We got a question from Josh Vance, and this is a player we haven't mentioned at all this show, probably because we just don't want to talk about him. Petro, off this year. What are your thoughts? Do you think having triplets is a reason he's struggling? Maybe he's not getting much sleep.
We haven't talked about this, and I want to trade him.
That has been a piece that people have brought up with Tarasenko and Allen and Petro. The whole baby thing. Well, they have babies, and you know what? I don't give a shit. If you have babies and you don't play well, then you know what? Get the fuck out of here.
They have an
Isn't that the same thing with Jake Allen, though? Jake Allen had a kid, unplanned kid, middle of the season, and that was the first time he went off the fucking rails.
Here's the deal, though. You're a millionaire. You have a nanny. Petro have a nanny. They have a nanny. So the nanny is the one getting up with the kids in the middle of the night. I mean, the parents should be sleeping. And getting rest. And I get that kids are a lot of work. Believe I have 2 kids. I understand it's a lot of work, but I don't have a nanny either. So that would alleviate some of the. And plus, he's on the road half the time, so he's away from that situation. In that shit too. You think about our jobs. I mean, this is a job for these people. If I walked into work one day and I'm just like, yeah, I'm not going to be any good to you guys today because, my kid kept me up all night. I think my boss would be like, oh, okay, take it easy. It's cool. We got a guy that's going to be starting at your job for you today. You can just sit back and relax. No, it's bullshit. And I'm with you, man. I mean, not only is there nannies, but, and again, I'm not trying to sound sexist here, but most of these guys' wives and girlfriends, maybe not most, but I know a lot of them personally, don't have jobs because why would they? They're making millions of dollars. So you think that they're doing the trade-off like you and I do? Like when you had a baby, Kurt, when the wife was like, oh, hey, Kurt, your turn. Time. No, Alex doesn't have a turn. He's the one bringing in millions of dollars. He's the one that's, hey, stay asleep, honey. I don't do shit all day except take care of the kid. I'll take care of it. Now you're getting into weird territory.
Okay, sorry. That's not my mom was a stay-at-home mom, and my God, I know she worked her ass off.
Stay-at-home moms are
That's not what I meant. I think everybody knows what I mean without being sexist.
Sure. Yeah, I'm not going to be sexist, but
I'm not gonna be sexist, but fuck them bitches.
I don't want to be racist, but yeah.
My mom was a stay-at-home mom. I know it's hard work, but I mean, that's their job. That's their job. That's what they do.
And it's sometimes a thankless job, but it's a fucking important job. And yeah, hats off to the stay-at-home moms.
Yes. Please let me jump in on that too.
Retract.
See, Spoon Fudge says Jake is an average goalie at best, but sometimes people act like he's the worst. He's almost the worst number one.
Yeah,
I mean the number one. We're talking number ones,
right? Yeah,
he's almost. He's like fourth or fifth worst, something like that.
Yeah. He's pretty damn bad.
He's pretty bad.
When people have to bring in career stats to make him look halfway decent,
I know. That was the thing with
a bad story.
That was when I responded to the Drop podcast. I was you're not taking into account his recent stats, which is the last couple of years. Right. Spoonfudge also says trade Petro now, which I would not be upset if they traded Pietrangelo and got a really good return for him. I think if they can get what his fair market value is, I think get that for him, I would not be against that. I like him, I do, but I think he's just not as inconsistent as Allen, but he goes through, he rubbed me the wrong way. I don't know.
Here's the thing. He is one of the best defensive defensemen in the game, but the Blues force him into trying to be a two-way or even an offensive defenseman.
I'll give you that.
He is, and I've said this many times, and this is not a compliment. He is the best guy in the league at letting a lane shut down in front of him. Every time the guy touches the puck, he handles it. He never shoots the puck. Well, I can't say never because I think the first LA playoff series, he scored on a one-timer from the point. That may be the only time, but he always overthinks it in the offensive zone. And that's why he's so effective in the defensive zone. He gets the puck, he doesn't panic, he thinks, but you can't do that in the offensive zone. You've got to drive the play to the net, and he doesn't do it.
What happened last game? Did you see the blue line play? He has the puck at the blue line. He goes to wind up for a shot, looks up, and the puck is slowly sliding outside the blue line, and it comes down, and it's already outside the zone, and he stops. It's like, fuck! It's outside. I'm like,
that's
does
the
that
exact play that I was thinking.
That's a huge pet peeve of mine with him, is that his he holding the puck in the blue line. It's so frustrating. It's not that, okay, I was a tough hold in. He couldn't do it. But it's the almost the brain farts of the blue line where he just like stick handles it outside the blue line for some reason or other. I don't understand that. That happens way too often with him. And that's not a reason to trade a guy. But I just think that, again, I think with Pietrangelo, it's kind of like Allen, where we've seen the best that he can be. And he's been really good in the past, but I don't think he's going to be the kind of guy that we think he was going to be. Not quite there. And maybe we can get more value for him than we could later.
You know what I would like to see, honestly, because I'm with you, Kurt. I actually, and I think I said this a couple shows ago, that at this point I'm open to trading anyone on this roster. But I would like to see, because I think if you trade Petro, then obviously Parayko becomes your number one, and I'm fine with that. But the only issue we have with Parayko, and we've talked about it on this show, and I think everybody's talked about it before on whatever social media platform they use, he's not physical. If you could get, and I don't have a player in mind, I'd have to look into it a little more, but if you could find a solid left-handed defenseman who can play physical, they could play on your top pairing, and you could find a way to get whoever that guy is, if he exists, that's what you do. And you get rid of Petro and you fill another need, possibly goaltending. Maybe you can move him for that left-handed defenseman. I don't know. But I think if you had a solid, tough left-handed D to go out there with Parayko, that's a great top pairing there. They just don't have that right now.
I think we're going to wrap the show up.
Yeah.
We have another question we should get to real quick.
What's that?
This is from Jake Allen's Mask. Do we trade Shen, keep him, and let him walk, or try to extend? And I don't want to start a whole new conversation here because we're getting ready to wrap up, but I do want to voice something that I said to my hockey team that kind of blew them all away the other day, that I really believe this. You know what I'm actually kind of leaning towards doing right now? I know Shen, free agent, you got to trade him, right? I'm actually rooting for re-signing him. And as crazy as this sounds, if you could get a deal, a good deal, more of a retool than a rebuild, and you could flip Schwartz and Tarasenko somewhere, and then build your team around Shen and O'Reilly, I would like that. That's what I would go for. But I know that there's a lot of moving parts with that.
My 9-year-old daughter asked me the other night when I was yelling about the Blues. She goes, "What would you do with the Blues?" And I told her, I said, I would trade Pietrangelo and Tarasenko. That's what I told her. Schwartz has been frustrating this year. 90% of the team has. He's has not been productive. And if he were to be moved at this point, I wouldn't care. That's sad. I'm apathetic about almost everyone if they were to be moved. When to start this season, I was like, man, this is a great group of guys. This on paper, we should be really good. And we're just not. So, I mean, it's a shame because one of the biggest problems on the team is in net and is really not movable. I mean, it's right. You can't move the guy that is probably one of the biggest problems.
The only way you move him, I think, is if you can move him to a team that has cap room and already has a starter in place and has another problem contract they would be willing to move to you. That's the only way. But I honestly, I mean, maybe Detroit. I think they still have Johan Franzen's contract, but the Blues aren't the Maple Leafs. They're not going to take on a contract to pay a guy to not play.
I'm with you too, Jeff. I want to sign Shen. I mean, whether he wants to sign her or not, I don't know. But I would like to see them bring him back.
I'd love to have that 1-2 punch stay with O'Reilly and Shen. At this point, I don't care about the wingers. Just to keep those two. But again, I know that's a lot of work to try and get Shen back and then trade everyone else, basically.
And to be honest, I mean, people want to blow it up and trade half the team at the deadline. I don't think you're going to see that. You might see one or two guys moved.
It just doesn't happen anymore.
No, you don't move 3 or 4 big guys off the team. You just don't do it. They might move 1, maybe 2 guys.
Shen, Maroon, maybe Gunnarsson.
Well, I think, yeah. And I wasn't considering Maroon as a big guy. I mean, I was thinking salary wise, or I was thinking impact wise.
Well, I think total trades. Those are probably your likely moves.
I think, and I would like to see Maroon go. I'd like to see Maroon go. Man, Tarasenko leaving would be huge.
Oh,
fuck.
Well, for one, it would kill the attendance the rest of the year, and I don't think they'll ever do it.
I don't think they will either, but I would not be sad to see it happen. I think he's trending down, and it's just not.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I honestly think we've seen the best of Tarasenko.
I would love to see them try to rejuvenate him, re-energize him, and the one way you do that is try to get Artemi Panarin.
Okay. Now, if they could somehow move Allen's contract, Steen, those 2 bad ones, but and get Panarin here and sign Bobrovsky. This is like pie in the sky situation. Then obviously, yes, if Panarin's here, then okay. Then I want to keep Tarasenko because you put him with his buddy, then something could happen.
Klim Kostin centering.
God. I think I just got hard.
The Iron Curtain line.
No, I don't think that Armstrong would ever get approval because Tarasenko he's the guy that's putting butts in seats.
She did too, though. She got fans in the building, a lot of them.
Yeah, but he got on the wrong side of Ken Hitchcock.
Still, but Stillman was I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I
didn't think they would. I didn't think they were going to trade Oshie, and they did because of the fan thing.
Different kinds of players. Oshie was a fan favorite.
He was productive too, though. He was effective.
Yeah.
We'll debate that some other time.
Yeah, some other time. We need to wrap up.
You're right. We do. It's late.
By the way, for those listening and podcasting, I do want to point out that Mr. Bill Day is wearing a Montreal Canadiens jersey.
I am.
Just thought that was worth knowing.
Yeah.
Right. I am. And I am.
You going to the game tomorrow?
I'm going to the game tomorrow night. The only game I'm going to go to this year.
I knew you would.
And I'm wearing this jersey. And you want to know why? You want to know why I'm wearing this jersey? Because it is a Carey Price jersey. And I like goalies who make saves.
Nice. But you you did see that the was it the tweet that Lance put out last night was said that over the past four or five seasons that Jake Allen only has one less win than Carey Price.
Right. And how many less games on IR does Jake Allen have?
I think Allen has like almost 40 more games played.
Yeah, exactly.
Price has been hurt like 3 of the last 4 years bad.
Right, and he's finally finding his form this year. The Canadians are an entertaining team to watch. They, by advanced stats measures, they dominate possession. They dominate the flow of the game almost every night, and they've hit a bit of a skid lately. But I'm definitely looking forward to seeing it tomorrow night. I hope the Blues start Jake Allen, because it'll give the Canadians a win and get the Blues closer to lose for Hughes, and people can boo.
Yeah, I think if Allen starts, there'll be some uproar on Blues Twitter, and there'll be arguments about the Jake fans and the Jake critics, and
Quite honestly, just for the record, I will wear my Habs jersey tomorrow night, but it's a win-win for me whenever these teams play, except the years when they're both just abjectly horrible. This year, Canadians have a little bit of hope. I still fucking hate Mark Bergevin for doing what he did to the team, but I am, whatever happens tomorrow night, I'll be happy. I'm gonna wear this sweater just because I like getting dirty looks.
I know it depends on who's gonna go for the Blues.
Mm-hmm.
But we got Jake Allen's mask says in the YouTube chat, predictions on score tomorrow night.
I'm gonna go 4-1 Montreal.
Jeff?
I'll go 3-1 Montreal. Wait a minute. Bennington's in, right? Maybe.
We don't know.
All right. So I got to give 2 then. 3-1 Montreal if Allen's in net. 2-1 Blues if Jordan Binnington plays.
Say 3-2 Blues overtime. No shootout. Overtime. Just because
the Blues don't play shootout games anymore.
Well, they do for one. I'm gonna, because I think the Blues have played. They're trending slightly better play overall. There's more good games than bad games from the team out in front of the goaltender. So maybe that'll continue. I don't know. We'll see. I'm not gonna. We'll see. We can't go 3 wide against the Blues. That's weird. I gotta be the lone guy. So it doesn't matter what the score is. If the Blues win, then I win, right?
Hey, I said if Binnington plays, the Blues do win.
You did say that. That's right.
He did hedge.
You're 2-1, right?
2-1.
Right. Okay, you're right. Sorry. That will do it for this week's episode of Let's Go Blues Radio. For Jeff Ponder and Bill Day, I'm Kurt Price. That will conclude this week's broadcast of Let's Go Blues Radio. Until next time, everyone, let's go Blues.
Bergevin throws the puck at his own net.
I got nothing.
The Chiefs are at home tonight against Cyanosport at the War Memorial at 8. Good seats are still available.
A look at sports.
I think that went very well.
Thank you for listening to Let's Go Blues Radio. Now take off, hosers.
Well, there's 90 minutes of your life you'll never get back. Sorry.
St. Louis Blues, St. Louis Blues.
Have you heard the news about our St. Louis Blues? They've only just begun, they're on their way to number one. Now there's no more blues for our St. Louis Blues.